Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Africa. My name is Victor Tehemba and this is Daybreak Africa once again on Television Nigeria. This is what we do from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. trying to kickstart your day, usher you into the day to see how you can really maybe make you feel relaxed. And mornings are actually quite tense and all of that. And then we are in the season where the weather is not friendly to some people. I know some people have really been battling with flu. And even I myself just came out of flu like a few days ago and all of that. But then it's a wonderful Tuesday morning, and then it's also a very happy day. And I'm very sure that some football fans, especially those that support Manchester United and those who just don't like Chelsea, I really had a sweat time sleeping last night because it was really good news. And like for myself, being a Manchester United fan, yes, I wasn't really expecting a win, but then 2-0 was something that really got me feeling happy, and also in other areas as a Nigerian. Yesterday we had some leaked papers that came out of the presidency concerning national security issues, and then it has really gotten a lot of us concerned. A lot of people have been talking, and then there have been conspiracy theories on this, what happened and what not happened. But the full details of these and more are things that I'll be bringing on to you later. But then I won't be doing it alone. I know Priscilla Jesula is somewhere around the studio, and then she's going to join me immediately after this break that will be going on shortly. While we wait for that break, maybe I should just quickly go in and give you a background story of what actually I was trying to say about the national security issue. So a letter that was designated to be confidential got leaked out of the Office of the National Security Advisor, who is actually now being head by Mogonu. And in that letter, he complained that the President Chief of Staff, Abba Kyari, has been having some sort of interference and in a what he call it, unwholesome meddlesomeness or wholesome meddlesomeness in national security matters, because the Chief of Staff goes ahead to host security meetings that does not include the ONSA, that sometimes also goes ahead to hold security meetings with the service chiefs, diplomats, ambassadors, all of this without the knowledge of the president. And it says this has really raptured the progress, and that has really raptured the progress that the president has wanted to gain, or planned to gain in the fight against insecurity in the country, and that this is not really good. So he in that letter, what he actually did was give more directive and more orders to, or that I gave orders to the security chiefs and other people who are concerned, including the IGP of police, the DGSSS, the DGNIA, that henceforth they should desist from receiving orders or conferring with the Chief of Staff, that any order that they have to get will only come from the president himself, verbally or written, with his signature boldly attached. Beyond it would be the NSA, and beyond that they shouldn't receive orders from the Chief of Staff and all of that. So it has got a lot of people talking, and I don't know what you think. I'm sure that this issue has been out there in the public, and then you must have been aware as well. But in case you're not aware, I'm just giving you a little background. We're going to talk about it. But then, if you have any comments, if you have any opinions of what, you just imagine, why would the Chief of Staff meddle in national security matters when he's not the president? Why would the Chief of Staff preside and chair over security meetings, which also includes the security chiefs and diplomats and ambassadors? You want to ask yourself, why would the Chief of Staff be giving directives to service chiefs and all of that? Maybe if you have your comments, you have your opinions that you want to pass, you want to express yourself, then you can do that in the comment section. Drop your comments, and when we come back from taking the headline news card, seeing some of the other stories making the headline, we are going to also read your comments. And besides, Priscilla will be joining me after that. So headline news is up next. Oh yes, that was just some of the stories making the headlines, captured in all of that, and basically there's a lot more to talk about. But before then, Priscilla, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Morning. I heard the road coming to work was quite rough for you.
Yeah, yes. The hold up has, I don't know what to call it. It has spiraled, or it has
Gotten worse.
Yeah, it has gotten worse in the past 2 weeks. It has been harder to get to work. I don't know what happened. I don't know how this happened, because it was bad before. Now it's worse, and it's really, really taking a toll on me. Like, it's stressful as much as it takes so much time to get to work.
Yeah, but do you think there are reasons why
I honestly don't know
worse?
why the hold-ups got worse. I have no idea.
So like basically on your way there is nothing, maybe bad portions of the road have gotten widened, or maybe
I don't see anything different.
Just the same, just like it's gotten
old.
worse.
I don't know if more cars came into Abuja. I don't know what it is, but it just happened, and everybody's confused. Although now I'm beginning to think we need to leave home earlier.
Mm-hmm. I think that's just it. Well, so let us move in right into the stories that we already saw made the headlines, and one of them was the fact that the FCC were begging the UK to extradite the former oil minister, or less than petroleum minister, what they call it again? Listen, Madueke, yes, and all of that. Then her case has always just been there for a while. And according to allegations, it's about $2.5 billion.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, the thing is, personally, what made me more disappointed is the fact that she's a woman. You know how we want women inclusion in politics and all.
Yeah, but they say that whatever man can do, man can do better.
Wow, that's serious. So what really got me was the Manchester United win.
Okay.
That's a big deal. Everybody from Manchester United have been all about this since yesterday. Chelsea fans are keeping it low key. They're like, whatever.
No, of course.
But Manchester United fans are blowing it. Like, everybody's WhatsApp status, Facebook status, Instagram status was all about the match yesterday. You know,
it's one of the biggest football rivalries in England and the world. Yeah. So it's just like when when this Barca and Madrid plays, you know, a Clasico. So
exactly.
Chelsea, Manchester United is always that. So people really want to see. So it's actually sometimes it's more about bragging rights. They'll be like, yeah. So more of it'd be like in the last 3 meetings, Man U had won all of them, and it's like, wow. Yeah. Despite the fact that Man U is not in the top form, but maybe it's like they have this extra form that comes out when they meet Chelsea.
Oh, I'm actually proud of Man U. Last year was not a good year for Man U, but
this year hasn't been a good year either.
No, it has been better concerning Chelsea. Like,
no, because they have always sometimes had it with Chelsea. So
they've had a few wins, but they've not really done moments. So well, you know. And I just hope their management and stuff is making plans.
No, definitely. We really hope that from we the Man U fans, we are really hoping that happens, and all of that. So moving on to another story that really caught my attention, or should catch our attention, was the PDP writing to the CJN that, you know, today will be the day they will have to review the Imo case judgment, and they are writing to the CJN Tanko to remove himself from that panel. So he should just step aside. Yeah, and like they feel like maybe he's going to be biased or more or less sympathetic towards the APC.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I honestly, well, if you think about it, generally political rivalry that's what it's all about. That's what I think. I feel like there's definitely going to be some kind of ruckus if he stays on that panel. PDP is going to come for him. They're going to keep coming. But yeah, let's just see what happens. I don't know what they're about right now.
Well, we definitely will see that, because I don't see how you're going to have a Supreme Court reviewing a judgment and then you say you don't want the CJN to be on that panel.
I think he has shown some kind of preferential treatment.
Yeah, I think that is what they are. That is what they are kind of alleging, that he has been quite favorable towards the APC, and so he should basically step aside and all that. And also in Imo, the police had placed a 24 hours ban on protests in the next 24 hours, because, you know, when that judgment was given in the first instance, we know what happened. Protests everywhere. People are protesting in support of the incoming governor and those against the incoming governor, and those in less than solidarity with the ex-governor and all of that.
Yeah.
So I think now they are just like, we don't want any of that in the state. But then the question now lies is, do the police have the right to prevent people from this in protesting? Especially when it's going to be peaceful, not like they will be carrying arms or anything.
Yeah.
Well, that is also sort of an issue. But then we hope this in Bayelsa, I say Bayelsans, Imo, because Bayelsans Imo are now in the same WhatsApp group.
Exactly.
They are not basically in the same WhatsApp group, so they too are having their own tough time. And what really happened in Bayelsa, a lot of people are still talking, and some people say it's a miscarriage of justice. Like, the court deciding who rules instead of the people. But then, like when you are going to, like they say, whoever comes to what they call it now, equity must come with clean hands. So if you are going out there meeting the people to vote for you, then you must make sure that you do not have any baggages with you. So for the case of that governor, his baggage was his deputy governor, and sadly, the sad news happened.
Well, it's just sad that the court has to intervene every time.
Every
because
time.
even in the state, the court had to intervene.
Yeah, but at all times, people just need to know, including political parties, they now need to know, because of every time that the court has given giving judgment. If you pay attention, it's like they're sending a warning to political parties and politicians that there are a standard way of doing things. In the case of Zamfara and Rivers, for example, they basically ruled out the party APC from this in contesting both Zamfara and Rivers.
Yeah.
That should have made what actually caused that was lack of internal democracy.
Exactly.
So I believe that next time they'll be very careful, and I think that is why they're also quite careful with what's happening in Edo State. They wouldn't want to have a repeat of what happened in Bayelsa and Rivers, and that is good, because now it's going to promote internal democracy within party, because they know if we don't do internal democracy, issue is going to come up.
I get very disappointed when they are fighting amongst themselves, because I'm like, you guys have APC to contend with and you are fighting amongst yourselves. Exactly. Like a house divided. How do you intend to fight somebody else when your house is divided?
Exactly. And then when you now look at the case of this in Bayelsa now, for example, lesson there is no forging a certificate, like due diligence. Before
do the right thing.
Yeah, before that happened, the APC chairman said screening is just a formality. They don't need to do anything as long as they've gotten their candidates. Screening is just a formality. But I think going forward right now, they will take that screening very seriously.
And honestly, it's really sad that he didn't even lose his gubernatorial position because of himself, because of somebody else.
And all of that. So sometimes we're wondering, so when he meets the guy, what would they be discussing?
I don't think they'll meet. We won't meet.
Because some people will beat that guy for life.
Let's just, go our separate ways.
But then the case remains. I don't know what confidence they had when that issue started. It was so early. They could have settled this issue far back last year in September when the case came out. But then they just maybe they had so much confidence that they were always going to win in the court.
And he won for best governor.
Without being the governor.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically. So let us look at the fact that a federal high court in Abuja on Monday stopped the Independent National Electoral Commission from deregistering 31 political parties. According to the report, which was made known to newsmen on Monday, the presiding judge of the Federal High Court in Abuja, Justice Anwili Chikere, noted that INEC has failed to oppose the application by the applicants. The affected political parties had the legal rights which must be protected. So, still on the issue of the fact that INEC did register about 75 political parties, like what they say, 74 political parties, and now some parties went to court, and yesterday they had an injunction that INEC should cease going ahead with the registration and all of that. And so it means presently there are still political parties.
Wow, that is a lot. That's a lot. I don't know how INEC gets into all of these kind of
No, because they are the what do you call an electoral body, so they had to always
look but I think they need to be more I don't know what to call it. They need to be more strategic with the way they handle
things.
Things.
Because from this now, I got talking to some party members, those members of those parties that were affected in the whole registration, wherever, and some of them said, in fact, not some of them, all of them that I spoke to said that INEC did not officially send them any letter to inform them that they have been deregistered for not meeting up to certain requirements, whatever. So, like every other Nigerian, they got to learn of it from the press conference that INEC had, and it's like, you don't do things that way.
Yeah, you don't.
When we came to register, we went to your office, picked up the phone and went through the entire process of registering. So if you feel that you want to register us, then you have to write to us formally to let us know that we are going to be registered. But that's not even the crux of the matter. The crux of the matter is that INEC do not even have the right to register a political party.
Exactly.
But I think that what INEC was just trying to do was bring sanity. When you streamline these political parties, then maybe it will bring some sort of sanity and all of that.
Yeah,
And you know, some people were very of the opinion that even 18 that we have officially by INEC is still too much.
Yeah, I actually agree. I agree. I just think there needs to be more strategy, more planning, and more due process.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
No, of course, definitely there will be there. And let's move on to APC. Something happened in APC. So just like many people have been aware, some protesters on Monday stormed the National Secretariat of the All Progressive Congress, APC, demanding the resignation of Adams Oshiomhole as the national chairman of the party. And this is not the first time that is happening. This will be like the often time that protesters are coming to demand that the man leaves. Why do they want him to leave?
I don't know. I maybe have some skeletons in his cupboard.
A lot of people say that he has not been leading the party very well, and you know, people make less and reference to the fact that because of him they lost Zamfara State. They would have actually won Zamfara State. I think they partook in the election, like they came up tops, but then because of the unification.
Doesn't mean that all the problems the party is facing is his fault.
That is what most of these people who are against him are saying, that it's your fault. Rivers happens to be your fault. If they talk about Western, they will also put the blame on his feet and say it's also your fault. But then again, he has also tried, because right now he has given them Imo. Under him they have gotten Imo. But then the thing is, like, people will always count the negatives and like, okay, these are the parties that we had at this time. I mean, these are the states that we won at this time before you came in, and now after you came in, we have lost this number of states, which also includes Bauchi that they thought they shouldn't have lost. They lost Zamfara, they thought they shouldn't have lost. They never had Rivers, but they thought that they could get Rivers. They lost Benue as well, and then we're like, these are states that we shouldn't be losing, but here we are losing those states.
As much as I feel like the protesters have the right to protest and all of that, I think in the party, amongst themselves, they know where the lapses are.
Of course, they know, and I think that like some politicians themselves, if you reason, politicians don't get moved by protests because they are in the game. They know that all of these protests are mostly sponsored by
the opposition. Yeah,
or somebody against them.
Yeah.
So they all know how the protest is. So sometimes when you look at the protest and they look like, oh, who is that person that has so much money to go and spend and all of that. I think the protests that they really care about are those organic, people-oriented protests. Like it just happened out of a sudden. It is not planned.
And things like that, they will see it all over the internet.
Yes, definitely. And then they'll be like, yes, this really goes. So what we just talked about the APC, we also have to talk about their rival on the other side, which is the PDP. The People's Democratic Party has mocked the Nigerian presidency over a jittery move to stop a massive protest against the ruling government and the clueless service chiefs. That's what the PDP tended to be clueless. But a lot of people are going to disagree with that, including myself. I don't think they're clueless. They have been doing all of their best. Yeah, even if some people say their best is not enough, but then they're doing their best. I don't think anybody will be there just lounging and wasting away or just whiling away time and then you call them clueless. But then every government will be jittery of protest.
Every government will definitely be jittery. I mean, that is like the people speaking out whenever you see protests. That
will be the people speaking out. But then one thing again is like I was just saying here now, like, listen, some politicians don't take protests serious. And that is the more reason this kind of protest might not even really move them. It's why most of the times when there are protests, even if it's people really expressing their genuine grievances and all of that, they term it as the fact that some people were being paid or some people are bankrolling that protest and all of that. But then, for saying we're not talking too much, we have to move on to healthy living and look at what or how we should keep our body well and nice today. I know healthy living is where we always give you tips to look good, stay healthy, eat healthy. In fact, we just want you to be, all around healthy so that you can be here for us and we be here for you. So healthy living is up next, and Daybreak continues.
Welcome to another episode of Healthy Living. Eating healthy obviously has many positive benefits to both your body and mind. When we eat well, we feel good for it. And when we feel good, we are much happier and productive people. This cycle then affects your work, your relationships, and your overall life in general. It therefore makes sense to eat the healthiest things and reap the benefits of doing so. These are the five healthiest foods on earth. Why have these foods been chosen as the healthiest? The five healthiest foods we have chosen may not make it onto everybody's list, and you may even think differently. However, these foods have the essential vitamins and minerals the human body needs to function at its best. Plus, as an added incentive, all of them are delicious and will be a pleasure to eat. Spinach. Spinach is a nutrient-dense superfood, and thanks to its increase in popularity, it is readily available in nearly all supermarkets, whether fresh, frozen, or even canned, as our pipe-smoking sailor friends prefer it. Spinach is one of the healthiest foods on the planet. It is packed with energy whilst low in calories. It is also a great source of vitamin A, K, and essential folate. Garlic. It may make your breath smell, but trust us, the benefits it provides are well worth it. Garlic has been used to fight diseases for hundreds of years now, as it inhibits the growth of bacteria. It also lowers cholesterol, blood pressure, and is a powerful anti-inflammatory. So look past the smell, buy some mouthwash, and get yourself some garlic. Lemons. Lemons have been widely regarded in the health industry as the world's healthiest food. The sour food is an alkalizing power food. They have strong anti-inflammatory qualities and can even help to inhibit the growth of cancer cells. They aid both the liver and bowels and also have the same amount of vitamin C as an orange. Beetroots. The purple vegetable is sometimes overlooked when it comes to being one of the healthiest foods available, but there are arguments that it could still be a superfood, and we agree. Beetroot is good for the brain and can lower blood pressure. Recent health claims even state that it boosts exercise performance and can even help to prevent dementia. This root vegetable is filled with folate, magnesium, and vitamin C, so start adding it to your salads from now on. Avocado. The benefits to eating this alligator pear are the lowering of cholesterol and triglyceride levels. They protect your eyes, relieve symptoms of arthritis, and may help to prevent cancer. So if you haven't tried it, please do. And if you didn't like it, maybe give it another chance. Nowadays, eating healthy is a lot easier than it used to be. And that is the much we have for you on today's episode of Healthy Living.
Well, five healthiest food in on earth.
One
That's
that really got me was garlic. I
yes,
feel
and
like
we
a
don't like
lot of
garlic.
people don't like garlic.
People
The
like me.
smell is not something you want to have people smelling on you. Like the smell is just so bad. It's too bad. I know. But the advice was to get mouthwash and get some garlic.
Yes, that's just too much stress. So to me, basically, it's just keep away from it.
But it's healthy.
Yes, it's not the only healthy food. They give us five.
So we should stick to the other four and leave the
Yeah,
garlic
so
alone.
like me, I can stick to the other four and then just
Leave garlic alone.
yeah, maybe once in a while put a little of it in my in my meal. Yes, and that's just that.
Okay, that
But then,
was.
yes, let's go to other issues. And finally, Father Mbaka breaks silence on controversial Bayelsa governorship prophecy. The spiritual director of the Adoration Ministry in Enugu, Reverend Father Ejike Mbaka, has denied making any fresh prophecy about the Bayelsa governorship tussle. This is coming in response to claims on social media and some sections of the media over the weekend that Father Mbaka had prophesied that Doye Diri of the People's Democratic Party would not last beyond 2 months as the governor of Bayelsa State.
Interesting.
Yeah, everyone's looking for a mouthpiece.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he come and said that I never said anything like this. I never said such, so don't
Yeah,
put
said
that
a
on
couple
me.
of things.
Yeah, but then that wasn't part of what things that he said.
So this is not one of the things Father Mbaka said. So
Yeah,
you
that's
should
what
stop
he's saying.
putting words in his mouth.
Yeah, you know that people are trying to use him to really kind of let's prophesy their own. Yeah, what? How should I say it?
Yeah,
their own interest.
Now he's in the forefront, so yeah, they keep pushing him in front of them.
And you know, since he made a protest about Imo, and then people saying, what did he say about Bayelsa? What did he say about this? What was that interest? What was so interesting or so important about Imo that God gave him a revelation? But then God works in mysterious ways. Who knows? Perhaps.
Mysterious ways, and men also are mysterious.
Yes, but who knows? Perhaps God might have wanted to use Hope Uzodinma to maybe really do some great things.
Did you say might have?
Yes. Well, I can't speak with any certainty.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we're still waiting on the whole situation to, get better, or for at least a good judgment, or a judgment at least to come out.
So let's see what happens at the end of today. And I love the fact that it's a Supreme Court, so we won't be waiting for a very long time with so much adjournment and whatever and what have you not.
Yeah.
So basically, we'll just get that done with in a matter of hours, and then and I think once they review themselves and they come to a final decision, there would be no going back. And I think that approach of approaching the Supreme Court to review your judgment, I think is also going to set some sort of bad recent precedent in Nigeria, because like everybody who has gone through Supreme Court, we want to go back and say, please help us review this judgment. I think you erred in some certain things and like that. And I think it's going to delay our already delayed and slow judicial process that really goes on. But that is so much talking about Nigeria, and maybe we should head over to the African frontiers and see what's happening in other African countries. Not only in Nigeria are things happening.
Yes, of course, things happen all over the world. A lot of things are always happening.
Definitely in Africa as well. So let's look at the happenings around Africa in News Across Africa. Daybreak Africa will continue after them.
Good morning. This is News Across Africa on Daybreak Africa. Media organizations in Liberia and abroad are calling for to determine the cause of the death of a popular independent journalist and radio talk show host, Zeno Miller, who was assaulted by state security officers 3 weeks ago. He was allegedly beaten up by the presidential security guards at the end of January when he had gone to provide commentary for a football match President George Weah was attending. Mr. Miller was pronounced dead at a hospital in the capital, Monrovia, on Sunday after an apparent fall. A report obtained by his family said he died from pressure. Family members also say up to his death on Saturday, the soft-spoken journalist was still complaining of severe pains from the incident. Detectives in Kenya are questioning staff from the Deputy President William Ruto's office as part of an investigation into a fraudulent military arms deal worth nearly $400 million. In a court in the capital, Nairobi, a former minister, Rashid Echesa, has denied committing the fraud. He is accused of trying to obtain the money from some Polish businessmen after promising them that they will get a tender to supply military equipment to the Kenyan military. Police says Mr. Echesa had already received more than $100,000 from the proceeds. The U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has overseen the signing of several private sector deals with American firms. The road building, power, and healthcare projects were announced at a time when China and Russia are deepening their political and economic ties across the African continent. Later this month, in Senegal and Mauritania, 1,600 troops from various African countries are due to take part in an American-led military training exercise focusing on countering Islamic extremist groups. The US has indicated its intent to scale back its troop presence in Africa. The move has been criticized by France, which is leading the international response to the growing threat of jihadist violence in the region. A Rwandan gospel musician who was taken into custody last week after he reportedly attempted to flee the country has taken his own life in prison. Kizito Mihigo was found dead in a police cell in Ramera police station in the capital, Kigali, early Monday morning. They had expected to charge him with bribery and attempting to leave the country for the purpose of going to join a rebel group. He was pardoned by the president in 2018 on condition he only leave the country with judicial permission. Kenyan ambassador to China, Sarah Serem, has told students in Wuhan, the city at the center of the coronavirus outbreak, that they will not yet be brought home, but she is praying for their safety. In a video message, Ambassador Serem asked Kenyans to join her and pray for Kenyan students living in the Chinese city, which is currently on lockdown. Mrs. Serem also said it was difficult for her not to be able to do anything to get them home. Kenya had 2 weeks ago promised to repatriate the students once the lockdown in Wuhan ends. Kenya had 2 weeks ago promised to repatriate the students once the lockdown in Wuhan ends. Nigerian Football Federation President Amadu Pinnick has defended the choice of Joseph Yobo as assistant coach of the senior national team amid a huge public outcry over his appointment last week. The former captain replaces Imama Amapakabo and is expected to work with manager Gennard Raw as third in command. But some fans and a second media saying he lacks the right qualifications. The former Everton, Fenerbahce, and Norwich City star, who represented his country at the 1999 Under-20 World Cup, skippered Super Eagles to Africa Cup of Nations success in South Africa in 2013. And that is news across Africa. I am Ade Della. Daybreak continues shortly.
Interesting stories happening in and around the African continent, and then we saw that sad story from Rwanda. The gospel singer Kizito Mihigo, I'm sure I got it right, found dead in police cell. And the story behind that was like in 2015 he was convicted of plotting to kill President Paul Kagame. Yes, and then there are other stories that he was a CIA agent sent to spy on Rwanda and all of that. So he was convicted in 2015, and then early yesterday or late yesterday he was found dead in the police cell. And then the police said he committed suicide.
Wow.
But
wow,
then
that's a lot.
But then nobody believes that.
Nobody believes that. Of course, nobody believes that. It's been him against the government for the longest time, and then all of a sudden he commits suicide. That's definitely enough for people to raise eyebrows.
Yeah.
It's actually very sad.
And then you know that despite the fact that it seems like Rwanda is that African apple that everybody really looks up to and appreciate or celebrates.
Yeah.
It seems like beyond that, some people say that's just a PR.
Yeah, like some kind of facade.
Yeah, but then behind all of that, what you have is a real dictator running Rwanda in the most cruel manner.
Wow. See, Africa, we need a lot of rejigging and
yeah, no, it's sort of the fact that sit-tight syndrome that we have, and that sometimes I really wonder, why is it just Africa? You know, when you go to countries or continents where they have this attitude of leaders sitting in one position for a very long time and not wanting to leave, you find they have something in common.
Yeah.
Like they lack lesson development. growth and economic
And it's
progress
mostly
and all
just
of that.
oppression.
Yes,
and
just
all of
oppression and all
that.
of that. So you could find it. And then for the longest time that Russia was still in that manner where you have some
Yeah.
tight seat leaders like
Exactly.
Stalin, what they call it, Ivan the Terrible and all of those people. Yes, it was more of that until they begin to move away from that. Then you come to Africa and then when you look all around, you have seat tight leaders.
Exactly.
Go to a place like Cameroon. The man has been there for the longest possible time and has been refusing to leave. I'm like, why will you get to the president and don't want to leave? And then sometimes I try to imagine that how come this leader, this political leader becomes so powerful that the people cannot challenge them.
How come?
Yeah, because and then I was looking for that if I were in the army in the force, for example, and I take an oath to protect the integrity and sovereignty of Nigeria, right? I don't think anybody will order me to shoot against the people I'm supposed to protect or maybe act against their own interests. I don't think I'm going to really do that.
Generally,
Why do people
the
take
military and all they're always in support of the government. I feel like
yes,
in some
I
sort
don't
of
know
way.
how that
and
really
generally
happens.
they're supposed to be for the people.
For the people,
Yeah.
just as much as the government is supposed to be for the people. Because I don't think like if citizens begin to really exert their authorities, and I think that is what sets the US democracy sort of apart.
And another thing is enlightenment. A lot of people are not that,
But even
enlightened.
even in places where there are enlightenment, I think it's more about the fact that apart from that enlightenment, they get to practice these things so wholly that it becomes ingrained in the culture that you coming into office, you just realize that you have just so much little power of how much and so much that you can do.
And there's so much checks and balances
Yes,
and all
and
of
you are
that.
answerable to the people.
Exactly.
You see things that a councillor in Nigeria, councillor or local government chairman cannot take, right? Are those things that when you look at those advanced, like maybe UK, US, for example, let's use them as typical example.
Yeah.
These are things that they take during in the lesson run up to what they call the election they had in UK. You could find that the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, could go to areas and then the people will say, we don't want you here, please leave.
Yeah.
And they'll say, leave our land, and then he will just have to leave with apologies.
And then we used to see a lot of booing.
Yeah, I don't know that.
A lot of booing.
Man, like, if that should happen in
there was a time
Nigeria.
somebody got booed in Nigeria and he wanted to make it into a big deal. I've forgotten who it was, but I heard a story of a government official being booed and he wanted to blow it out of proportion. And I'm like, something that literally happens on other continents on a daily.
And the people goes on because they understand that you have the power, you are the people. Trump went to a bowling game and in the entire stadium sang songs that wasn't to praise him but to really call him that he's a bad president, that he should resign in an entire stadium. And he was there, he listened, he sat down and listened to all of this, and at the end he went home. Then he has gotten the message that these people in the stadium don't like me, but then he still continues, goes on to be president. He knows these are things that we know in Africa it cannot happen. You can't try it in Rwanda, you can't try it in Nigeria. You know what will happen to you if you try that in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Few days you are missing DSS. We get you. You can't make critical statements of your leaders without really being punished for that. So you can't even try it in Cameroon. Cameroon seems to be like the worst of it. I don't know. You can't try that. There's nowhere in Africa that you can go try that and then
we've not gotten to the point where we're practicing democracy
in the
totality.
fullness of it. Yes, people just need to really realize that the power really belongs to the people. And I think once the people begins to realize that, it's as simple. I think that if maybe a governor or a senator isn't performing well, the people can go there and simply say, please leave.
That's the thing about enlightenment. I feel like in some states and parts of the world, they know exactly what to do and they know how to go about
and right
it.
from time
and they know their rights, their privileges and everything. But here in this part of the world, we only know as much as we're told.
Yeah. Well, and then you know of the mass illiteracy all over the country. Just a few people.
I was actually talking to somebody. If you go on the streets of Nigeria, more than half of the people you speak to don't speak English very well.
But some people will tell you that English is not a measure of intelligence, which sometimes I really disagree.
I totally disagree because you hear sometimes when you have conversations with these people, the English and what they are saying is in par.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very, it's just like you are listening to this person and you just know, no, this is not it.
Exactly.
No.
And then they don't try to even make that reasonable.
Exactly. They don't really know as much. It's just like they're just borderline, not even average, below average.
And I think that is why I think in Africa we have really mastered that art of gathering power, holding on to power.
Yeah,
and it's everywhere because it's always the same system. Subject the people, oppress the people. Sometimes they might not even need to do it violently or physically as you get to see it. You will find it in policies, just like what you have in Lagos, ban of keke. People are suffering, but then they go ahead. So what happens, just like we have had in several times in Lagos, you ban Okada for a while, then you let the ground people suffer. Close to the election, then you lift the ban, and then people feel like, oh yes, and everything, and then they rush up there, vote for you, and then when you come back, you ban the Okada again, and life goes on. Same thing we've had here in Abuja, ban keke, and then it has really been stressing a lot of people and all of that. But then, close to 4 years, you see they will come with other policies, and then people will just begin to rush. So sometimes there are policies that are deliberate to keep the people poor. There are policies that sometimes are deliberate to keep the people uneducated. Because nobody is very particular. Because if we're a country that really wants to move forward, I think education will be one of those things. But then all of a sudden, we don't really hear anything about education. We don't know what's really. We can go on the street of Abuja and begin to ask people, who is the Minister of Education, the senior minister and the state minister. I bet you if you ask 100 people, maybe just 5 will know that there's somebody that we actually have a minister for education.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you even speak to people on the streets of Nigeria, they see politicians as superiors. They see politicians as they always use this term big men. You know, that just goes to show that in some way, even in their minds, they're already subjected.
Exactly, and that's why everybody fights for government appointment, not because they want to go and serve, but because of what's in there and all of that. Yeah, and then sometimes when you even get involved in politics, people believe that yes, you are getting there because of money and all of that. I believe that I remember that time when I was really involved in politics like that. People just call me, oh, you are eating politics money. I'm like, what money do we have in politics that I am eating? For Christ's sake, and all of that. Well, that is just so much. And yesterday we talked about food. Okay, earlier on we talked about football, Manchester United and all of that. And so before the match happened yesterday, our people went on the streets to ask people what they think their predictions about the scores. And maybe when we come back, we'll also read some of those predictions and comments and all of that. And then don't forget that you can also drop comments about any of the issues that we have discussed so far that has really bothered you. We can also discuss any of those issues. But for now, let's go on the street and let's hear what people talked about the blockbuster match of Chelsea versus Manchester United that happened yesterday.
Stay tuned. Daybreak Africa continues.
Chima, you will be traveling to Stamford Bridge today. What do you think will be the outcome of the match?
Well, anyway, their traveling is good, but I'm sure they are going to lose because playing against Chelsea, they have never won Chelsea, and they are not going to win Chelsea today, and they will never win Chelsea.
What do you think will be the scoreline?
I'm looking at 3-0.
Today is Man U Chelsea. Who is passing?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
What will be the scoreline?
3-1.
3 for Chelsea?
Yes.
1 for Man U?
Yes.
Okay, who will be the man of the match?
For my man, Tim Abraham.
Igalo is appearing today for the first time. What do you think about the match?
Okay. Igalo is a good striker. Igalo has not been in England before. So as Igalo, as he come for England, say England tactics is hard. Well, Igalo will try. He will try as a striker.
Game is game is luck. You understand? But as for me, I give Man U the winning because of their way of playing.
So
what
will be the scoreline?
I predict 2-0.
Who do you think will be the man of the match?
The man of the match, each individual player can be a player in the field. You understand? But I can't tell you who is going to be the man of the match if they play as a team.
Chelsea, of course.
What will be the scoreline?
The scoreline should be, the time of Mourinho, we score 4-0, and I'm expecting 4-0 today.
But why you want Chelsea on their first leg?
4-0, yeah? It was 4-0. They won Chelsea.
Okay, who will be the one man of the match?
William. They are going to fall.
But don't you think the presence of Igalo will make Chelsea not to win the match today?
It can never make, because a tree can never make a forest.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah.
I'm supporting Man U, and I think Man U will win the match.
Why are you supporting Man U?
I like them. I like the way they play, and what I like most about them is their clothes, their uniform. So I love red, and because of that clothes, so that's why I'm supporting them.
What do you think will be the scoreline?
3-0.
Man U win Chelsea 3-0.
Yes.
Igalo will be performing for the first time today. What do you think will be his performance?
I think he'll perform very well. Yes.
Do you think he can score goal?
Yeah, I'm very sure.
I like Chelsea support to win the match because of normally Man U support you normally win the match. So I like this season make Chelsea win the match because I made our coach Lampard making me strong more than that.
Okay, maybe Man U will be beaten. Man U will be winning.
So, who are you supporting?
I'm supporting Chelsea, but Man U will win. With the expectation of Man U, I think Man U will win.
Why do you think Man U will win?
Because of new signing, because of Igalo, maybe second half Man U will be doing something.
Today, Man U will be traveling to Stamford Bridge. What do you think will be the outcome of the match?
I think Man U is going to win them hands down.
Why do you think Man U will win them?
Because Man U have a red devil, so and have red in Milch's blood. So I think they will beat them like 2-0.
Man U will win. I think 2-1.
2-1. Why are you supporting Man U, sir?
No, I'm a Man U fan, so I know Man U will win.
Okay, Igalo will play for the first time today for Man U. What do you think will be his performance?
He will score today. Because he said he wants to score goal today. If he score that goal, he will delegate that goal to his sister, his late sister.
We will be traveling to Stamford Bridge today. What do you think will be the outcome of the match?
From the look of things, the match is not going to be a free ride. It's not going to be a tea party, because I believe it's a fight. It's a fight for the top four. As in the top four are those that will go for the Champions League. So it's not going to be easy. But I have this belief that Man U is going to emerge victorious.
Man U traveling to Chelsea home?
Yeah, Man U, they are good at making wonders,
Welcome back. That was definitely very interesting, and it actually seems like a lot of people's predictions were very, very correct.
Yes, some people were very,
apt,
very correct.
and then it actually happened the way they said it would.
Yes, and then from here in the comment section, people that were asked to predict, somebody predicted 2-0.
Wow.
And then
How
that's exactly what
precise can
happened.
it be?
Yes, that was just very precise. And then somebody else, Choma Peter, who is actually a top fan that really comments regularly, said that both teams were going to score. So that didn't happen. Yeah. And then some people say Man U will win, and for those that say Man U will win, okay, it actually happened that Man U will win. Sunday Onoche said Man U will win, and they won. And Choma Peter again came out and said it's a draw game. But then it didn't come to be draw. Miriam Lucky also said it was going to be draw, but then also that didn't come. Then other people like Lucky Isaac. Okay, let me skip that. Adadu NS, all of those said Chelsea were going to win, but then Chelsea did not win. And then somebody else here, Folashade Shakira, is thanking God for her life and her family.
How does it have to do with it?
No, I don't know what goodness God have done in their life,
maybe
but since you're thanking
Bet Niger. I don't know, maybe she put the 2-0 and
she won whatever. So okay, we rejoice with you, and we also thank God on your behalf for your life and your family, whatever you're celebrating. You're going to have more celebrations in your family.
Well, at this point, we're moving on
Alright.
to the very next, on to the next, and the next thing we have on our rundown is Posh Pie's entertainment news on television Nigeria. So stay tuned to get all of the juicy details on stories that were trending yesterday, and we'll be right back. This is Posh Pie's entertainment news on television Nigerian, and I am Priscilla Adesola. Here you get all of the juicy details on all of the stories that are trending, and yes, it's time for us to get right into it. So first off, Tonto Dike is celebrating her son's birthday, and this comes after the news of her being sued by her ex-husband Olakule Churchill for 500 million naira. So she shared pictures with the caption, "Happy birthday to my little man, February 17th, the day my life changed for the best, all because you chose me. My love for you grows 1,000 miles and over every second. I love you, King Andre Dike. You practically are my life, my world, my joy. Every day with you is the best day of my life. God bless and direct your path, honey. I love you deeply, juicy man." So yes, that's what she wrote. And you know, the news of her being sued by Olakule Churchill has been going around, and it is currently trending, and so much has been said, but we want to know how this whole lawsuit and everything pans out, because it definitely seems like it's going to be a lot. So moving on, I don't believe in marriage anymore. My mindset has changed. I have done that. I don't like doing things that I am not good at. Those were Nick Cannon's words as he appeared in an interview with ET Online. He also talked about bouncing back from the heartbreak of his divorce from Mariah Carey, co-parenting, and the unconditional love he shares with his kids. He said, "Whenever we can, show that even if we're not together, we love each other unconditionally and become that fine example to our children. They'll grow up to be good human beings, hopefully." He shares 8-year-old twins, daughter Monroe and son Moroccan with Mariah, and he has a 2-year-old son, Golden, with Brittany Bell. Alaafin of Oyo's youngest wife, Damilola, just welcomed a newborn son, and she shared the info via Instagram in a photo with the caption, "Alhamdulillah on my newborn baby boy. Congrats to me, Obatide." And that's definitely beautiful. Congrats to the royal family. So Amber Rose took to Instagram to share photos from her son's IT Halloween themed party held at Dojo Boom in Thousands Oak, California, with the caption, "Thanks at Dojo Boom. Happy early birthday to my smart, articulate, sensitive, compassionate baby boy, Sebastian. He turned 7 on February 21st. He's so blessed to have amazing family and friends that love him so much. We love you, Pumpkin." And in the photos, we couldn't help but notice her son, Sebastian, and his father, that's her ex-husband, Wiz Khalifa, as well as Amber's current partner, boyfriend, Alexander A.E. Edwards, and their son/Electric. Well, they were all photographed together, and they all looked happy and excited. It's actually a little bit interesting because her ex-husband, current boyfriend, stroke baby daddy, and their 2 sons were in the same picture, and they looked so cool. I wish things like that happened in Nigeria. Now, so ex-PP Nigeria housemate Nina had her traditional wedding over the weekend, and even though she shared the news via Instagram, she didn't disclose the identity of the groom, and people have been trying to find him, and she has even been mocking people. In her words, "People working overtime to see my hobby. Sorry, darlings, you all would never. Yesterday was the best day of my life." Okay, so Justin Bieber has shaved his mustache after being dragged by fans on social media. So he shared a video of himself shaving off the mustache and a pic of the end result with the caption, "I shaved. Mustachio went on holiday, but will be back in due time." So Piers Morgan and Jamila Jamil have been having a heated back and forth on Twitter. And it all started with Piers Morgan when he claimed that the actress has Munchausen syndrome, and now she has had it up to here and blocked him on Twitter. She made this known via Instagram, and we're all, very tired of Piers Morgan. He's ranting, he's bullying, he's trolling celebrities, and I really don't know what's up with this guy. So Nigerian rapper Vector has just taken a jab at people who shout when they pray, feeling God will hear them. In his words, why the hell do people shout in church believing God will hear them more? If anything, it shows how selfish we are, because the volume increases most because the individual vuvuzela wants God to answer him or her first. That, my brethren, isn't Christian, that's competition. I don't know, I just feel like generally Christianity, sometimes people can be a little bit dramatic, but God understands, right? So a video of T-Boss raining curses on internet trolls, calling her daughter ugly, got a lot of people talking, and now publisher Betty Irabo has reached out to T-Boss via Instagram. Betty had a lot of things to say, and in part she wrote, "Yes, I know what it feels like to have one of those moments when life truly sucks. I feel her. I get that it is one of those moments when a new mother gets really overwhelmed, and a little empathy can make a difference." You know, she pulled at T-Boss's heartstrings and even encouraged her and told people to be kind and be silent and not to say hurtful things to people, and I totally agree. Sometimes people on the internet can be so insensitive. Well, that's about it on this episode of Post Fight Entertainment News. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms, like, comment, subscribe. God bless. Welcome back. So yeah, so much going on in the world of entertainment, particularly the story with Amber Rose. I honestly don't know how these people do it. I mean, in places like Nigeria, you don't see ex-husband, baby daddy, and all the kids, and
having
then
a good
being
time
in the same picture. You know, having a good time. You know, it's crazy. I don't know how they do it.
I think it's just maturity and understanding.
And then there's also Justin Bieber with his beard.
Yes, beard's
mustache.
gone. So now people will be like, so when he's thinking, where will he crash?
Exactly. I know for the longest time he has been trying to switch up his look, coming up with this, coming up with that. I think he has not yet found that look yet. Yes. And it's understandable. I mean, he was, you know, baby boy for the longest time. Now he's a grown man and he's trying to figure himself out. So yes, it's not that easy.
It actually always happens like that. People always grow up to try and redefine themselves, find a new whatever that they may
find the balance. And then there's Vector. Okay, so Vector said people that shout in church.
I totally agree with him. I totally agree with him.
Like, you just, from the way they shout and all, you just see the mentality.
Yeah, I totally agree with him. I'd be like, and sometimes the thing really gets me tired when you go to a church and you are praying, and then because you're not shouting, the pastor thinks you're not praying or you're not praying well. Open your mouth. I'm like, man, my God is not too deaf that he won't hear me from where I'm praying. And so
even the Bible says that.
Yes, no.
So it's not about the volume.
No, it's not about the volume.
Heart.
It's about the heart, exactly.
Yes. And there's a lot of hypocrisy in these things. Because some people, that the previous night they were doing bad things, the next morning they were doing bad things, they finish insulting their neighbor as they were coming to church, finish quarreling, and then when they come to church, the same shout they were shouting at their neighbors, they're shouting for God. God answer me. Oh.
Yeah, but you know, there was sometimes, there was a time we were having this discussion in a circle of friends, and I was like, it is pointless praying at the top of your voice. Like, if you can pray in your heart, I even gave them a case of a lady that really prayed in her heart, like more of a thought than a prayer. But then God came through for her and all of that. Not like it is actually pointless, but then somebody gave an instance that, like an instant in a church, somebody was praying and all the person needed was just 5,000, and then he was speaking loudly that God should come to assist and just 5,000 and all that. And then another big man that was close and said, okay, is it 5,000 you are shouting for like this? Or you take, please just calm your voice down. I'm like, but that doesn't do it. So the point was like,
he was desperate and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about people that any prayer they are praying, they are screaming.
My neighbors at home, like they pray, I don't know, they pray more than how many times in a day, and each time I get to hear
at night
them.
they don't let people sleep. They're shouting on top of their voice.
Oh, the ones that do it with a bell. Ring the bell.
I'm telling you. And then the ones that shout fire, 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 die by fire.
As if they are going to stand when they see the
fire
fire.
comes.
When the fire comes.
Well, that's what we have on today's episode of Daybreak Africa. So much has been said. We've already brought to you as much as we can. And at this point, we want you to go and have the best time. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Make sure you like, subscribe, everything else. We are on any platform, from Instagram to Facebook to Twitter to LinkedIn, any more.
Pinterest.
We're everywhere.
Tumblr.
Exactly.
Everywhere.
So yeah, find us, follow us, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on another episode of Daybreak Africa. I'm Priscilla Jeshala. Have a blessed day.
And I'm Victor Tenemba. We'll see you tomorrow.